Okay. All right. Ayush, welcome. Rahul, welcome, welcome. All right. Looks like everyone can hear me. So fantastic. So my name's Greg. I am the founder of Longview Labs. If you don't already know who I am, I am focused on ecosystem developments. We also focus on building out apps. And I'm actually going to share one that we're working on right now. And ideally, we can kind of have a session here about the topic that I'm illustrating. So I'm also learning. This isn't like, oh, I know everything. No, absolutely not. I'm right there with you. I'm learning with you, and I'm here to be vulnerable and share something we're working on and and get that real response in real time. And if you feel compelled to add in, please drop your links into the room chat on the right hand side. It's super, super, super helpful just to get some like real time response, right? So we build out tools. We built out the AO event kit. The AO event kit is a leaderboard system that's built on AO. We built out 3 games, mobile first games. They use the Quick Wallet, which is an embedded browser wallet that's incredibly fast that we built out. We do think that is pretty dang simple, and it's been utilized by many hundreds of individuals in IRL events. And through Arweave India, there have been a number of events already that have used the AO event kit, which has been really fun to see. Excuse me. And so we build out these tools, these apps to help facilitate ecosystem development. We also run hackathons, of course, and we are the primary supporter of Arweave India and the fantastic team that you all have gotten to know. The Arweave India Launchpad is very significant. There have been very important projects and founders that have come through the Arweave India Launchpad. It's not easy to get here. You have to learn about it through the roadshow. Obviously, that's gotten much bigger over the year or so. Then you need to partake in the boot camps and everything like that. Then you need to make it to the Hacker House, right? Like we have way more submissions than actually available spots for the Hacker House. So shout out to you all for making it that we're able to make it to the Hacker House. And then now we're at the Launchpad, or even the Launchpad. And this is really your time to shine. And it is a fantastic time right now, here and now, to shine. AO mainnet is imminent. Looking like February 8th. So definitely mark your calendar for that. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. There already is a lot of opportunity, and there's just so many places you can make things that are significant to the ecosystem, right? So I just want you to feel really charged up about the opportunities being presented here, as far as the ecosystem, as far as the Arweave India Launchpad, as far as this cohort. I've heard from the Arweave India crew that this cohort is fantastic. There's a lot of energy and enthusiasm and inventiveness, if you will. And so just lean into that. So I wanted to start with this session about doing the simple thing. All right. So a few notes here. Now we've seen, or I've seen just from my own side of things, been in the ecosystem for a number of years now, maybe 3.5 or so. I don't have the exact figure. And I've seen things at times get complex, not because they need to, because the builder behind it or the builders behind it, it's almost like they want to prove that they can do something difficult. Like, oh, like I'm going to do the most difficult thing out there. And then what happens is it's difficult to interact with, it's difficult to understand, and it's difficult to make. So it has this trifecta in kind of all the not so great ways. Now, what I also have noticed that there's individuals that look at what's going on and they see things, they're like, you know what? That whole area isn't working for me. Or there's a giant opportunity because of the architecture of Arweave and now AL that enables this thing to be better than any other ecosystem as far as UX or as far as an overall experience, or maybe it's a game or whatever it is, right? Leaning into the protocol to say, wait, there's an opportunity here to do something that's straightforward, simple, useful, and maybe even fun. And these founders and builders, from what I've made note, do well. Uh, Simply put, so it's not about not doing difficult things, because building something simple is hard. So it is very difficult. It's very difficult to distill things about maintaining the integrity of what you're looking to do and making it so it's something you can talk about. You can share it, right? One of the product-led growth components of building anything is being able to talk about it and share it, right? That's like a viral hack. It's literally being able to talk about it and have others understand it so then they can share it. If they can't understand it in simple conversation, I'll get into that. You know, think it through. And that's really what this slide is about, right? If you cannot explain it well, question building it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will not be able to explain it well. There's a process. Sometimes things are really dense. Look in front of the mirror, right? Maybe awkward, maybe not. Who knows? Just do it. Like, talk about what you're building. Does it make sense to you? If it doesn't, loop back. Be diligent about it. Communication is also UX. It impacts the experience. So you need to be able to communicate incredibly clearly. And if you don't understand it yourself, you can't explain it well, you may not fully understand what you're building. And you may want to question building it. Or you need to really polish your thinking about it. Because you have to be able to articulate and share, whether it's through docs or through video or through the app or the tool or whatever it is itself, the actual interface. Others need to understand what you're making and why you're doing it. So here's a great example of doing something simple. Arlink. I wanted to give a shout out here because I think it's worth providing. So you want to deploy something to the permaweb. How do you do it? Okay, well, you can go in the CLI, you can do this and that. I worked on a project called Drag and Deploy where you can do it. And it was pretty dang simple. There's more room to grow. And Arlink has come in and they're doing this thing that still needs to be done. And that's the other thing. There can be multiple approaches to the same thing. That's okay. That's fine. It can be healthy. And so Arlink has come through. And what do they do? Simple. Deployments on Arweave made as simple as one click. All right. So think about this when you're building. Make sure that it's obvious, it's just clear as to what you're doing. Now, the topic of this talk is focused on the obvious. The obvious is not always obvious, right? And that's why I'm referring to this. And it may feel redundant. However, you may be surprised that it really is not redundant in most cases. Individuals get into their world, all right, and they lose sight of how to convey it to others. They lose sight of the purpose of the how to do this in the most elegant way. And they get into the technical nuance and all of this stuff. And it's so deep in it that it's like, it's so almost impossible to understand that others just won't give it time of day. You have to have the communication layer on top that makes sense of it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the actual thing beneath it has to be simple and like, you know, not powerful. It can be complex. I mean, there's complexity in the world. It's just that you have to make it simple to interact with it. And part of that is understanding communication right from the beginning. The kernel is communication. Can you communicate the idea? I know Ash dropped in the elevator pitch exercise. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, can you have a conversation about it, and does someone walk away understanding what the heck you just said? Right? Like, do they ask questions in response, or are they like mute? Like, I don't know what the heck to answer or respond with. Observe that. These are all product demos in some way, right? A conversation can be a product demo, if you will. Just because it's concept and it's words doesn't necessarily mean you're not saying a lot and you're not getting feedback. Observe. Don't just let the conversation be like, oh, that went well because I told them everything about everything I'm doing. It's like, did they ask anything? Did they verify that they understand what you're saying? These are things that you really want to lean into at all aspects, because when you're building, which you all are, you want to have the best experience possible. So every single input you want to use as a learning opportunity. All right. Let's say you make a post and it's on, Twitter or X, whatever, and you're just not getting feedback. You're not getting not feedback. You're not getting any response. And then you make another post and it's like really short and sweet and kind of distills, or it's a new line. Make note of that. Do more of it. These are the observations that you can make. All are optimizations. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Observation to optimization. You make these observations and you can optimize on them. You just have to be real with yourself about what's going on. So I wanted to highlight this for all of those reasons and give a shout out to the team. Thank you. This is fantastic. And they'll build more, and they're attracting more and more interest. It's really cool. So simple is approachable, flat out. It just makes it easier to understand. When you go to give someone a handshake, you kind of know how to shake someone's hand. It makes someone approachable. And if you go for a handshake and you don't know the boom, 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 some tricky, like super complex thing, you're not in the know on it. It doesn't make it easy to interact. You just want simple handshakes. Just want to make it obvious. You can flex in the way that you make it so clear that it's undeniable. Plus, simple is fun. When you focus on, the interaction, you can play with it. Little subtle animations. You can kind of like flaunt how straightforward it is, and play with it. So that's just like an area that you can discover once you have something that is simply oriented. And as I said before, simple enables growth, because it's not just about the website or the app itself. Again, it's about how you communicate about it. It doesn't mean that what is behind it may be complex. It's just how you speak about it needs to be relatively simple. Something that can be understood by others. Simple isn't a perfect word. I'm doing my best to kind of illustrate what we're talking about here. And this is what I mean, right? Like, simple does not mean incomplete. It's not about like just cutting corners and be like, oh, we're just not going to do that. And well, sometimes it does mean that, right? You want to remove the unessential parts. However, it doesn't mean that it's like incomplete, that it's not compelling. It really means quite the opposite. And simple means it works. It works for communication. It works for presentation. It works for, user engagement. Right? It works for sharing. It needs to check all those boxes. Building something is very hard. Very, very hard. I imagine you all know that. Building something of significance is incredibly difficult. And it's an amazing path, an amazing journey, and you all are here to make that happen, which is why I want to emphasize this, because I've seen many, many, many founders that go off in the land of complexity, and they come back with more complexity. And it's like, man, I apologize. I just don't understand what's going on here. Okay, maybe sometimes it's my inability to understand. More often than not, It means that they're not actually fully understanding what they're doing, in my opinion. So simple means it works in communication, it works in UI, UX, it works the full stack of simplicity um, to make it really go and grow and be of significance. Okay. Oh, there's a ghost on the screen. Why? All right. So focus on the obvious. Why is there a ghost on this screen? Anyone want to drop any idea in the chat, in the room? We got some eyes. We got love it. Why is there a ghost on this screen? Just drop any idea that you want. Okay. Focus on the obvious. Communicate. All right. So founders ghost. They go out of touch. They're so in their code and in their development and in their this and that. There's no update. There's this announcement and then they're gone. They've literally ghosted, it seems like. Well, where did Bob and Amy go? Where did they go? They were building this amazing thing. We saw like the beginnings of it. Now we have no idea what's going on. They've ghosted us. They've ghosted the potential investors. They've ghosted the potential developers that may use their tool. They've ghosted the potential users. This happens a lot, and it is something that I understand. I relate to. I've been there. I've been there where it's like, oh, well, we don't really have that much to say because it's kind of like we're not really there and we're just focused. We're heads down. Okay, fair enough. There's times to be focused and heads down. I'm just saying that if you have a public presence and then all of a sudden you don't, it doesn't look great generally. So what I encourage you to do, focus on the obvious, communicate. Communicate is UX. It's a form of growth. It's a form of understanding, right? And you can improve your product through your communication because you can actually have aha moments where like, you know what, that line really makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm observing it's resonating with others. Whoa, okay, this kind of changed our product emphasis because now we're talking about this sliver and illuminating, highlighting it. Whereas before we thought that little sliver, that little bit wasn't that big of a deal. Now it clearly shows that it is. All right, so you can optimize your product, optimize your experience, optimize your tooling through communication. The other thing with communicating is, especially when it's regular and public, and if it needs to be private, okay, and you have some individuals that you're working with, maybe it's investors or everything like that, partners, all the better. Communicate regularly. Being proactive is like a superpower. So this is something that is also overlooked. I've seen this overlooked many, many times. It's like, where did they go? And then, months later, like, oh, or weeks later even, oh yeah, no, we've been building the whole time. Okay. Well, no one knows that. And, maybe investors want to know that. Maybe anyone wants to know that. There's things you can communicate, even if you're not ready to share what you're building for whatever reason, you can communicate. So I'm obsessing about this because it is a potential superpower if you really get into it. And you're going to get insights. You're going to get feedback that, response rather, that can help shape what you're doing. Now, communication is also a place of potential vulnerability. You may say something that maybe it may not look that great, or it may not fully click, or maybe like, what the heck are they saying? I don't get this at all. That's okay. Monitor, just like the conversations you have. Monitor the response. Here's the other thing. You need to earn someone's care of what you're doing. You know, it's it can be pretty easy to be like, man, what I'm building is so great. Like I'm putting my life into this. This is so important. Everyone's going to care about this because I care about it. I mean, this is what I'm focused on. I mean, how is someone not going to care about this? You have to earn that. You need to make them care. I don't know if make them care is the greatest line. Just assume no one cares what you're building. No one cares about what you're building about, building rather. Just make that assumption. Now, it may not, and largely probably not, accurate. However, this mentality can frame it as such so that you do more to make others care about what you're doing. I don't know if make others care is the greatest thing. It's just the line. Ideally, you know what I'm saying. You have to earn the fact that others are actually interested in what you're doing. You can't just expect it. And that can go in so many forms. That can go in like friendly DMs. Say, hey, look, do you wanna, talk about this? I'm curious what you think. Asking for help is a great way for others to actually care about what you're doing. Asking for help can be another like superpower. Ask for help because then they get part of your experience. And when they're part of your experience, you have a shared experience, that's where care can be elevated. So assume no one cares. And it can seem a little bit like a downer. I actually think it's a giant motivator. And it helps you get more objective about what you're doing and not so subjective from your own lens. Like, I got this. Like this thing's so important. I know it is. Of course you do, because you're putting your life energy into it. Others don't yet. So ask for help, and really assume no one cares yet. They will. Just have to get there. Okay. All right. I've used this word a few times, and I'm still learning about it. And this is a little bit of a play on things. So cheeky, as someone from England may say. Do not ask for feedback. What does this mean? Okay. So what I mean by this is you don't want to interact. You don't want to ask for feedback. You want to watch individual interact with what you've built. Okay. So I'm learning about this in real time. There's habit. There's all sorts of things. I'm looking to improve on this myself, and we're going to get into this right now here. Asking for feedback, obviously you can. It's just that do not, in my opinion, do not ask for feedback as your primary means of getting response. So what do? You watch someone actually use what you've built, and it can be painful, like really painful. There can be cringeworthy moments of, oh, they didn't see that. I thought that was the most obvious button on earth, and they didn't see it. So you're watching them interact. You don't want to interrupt all the whole time. Maybe they have a question, you can respond to it. We'll see how it goes right here, right now. And it can be very, very, very difficult. And that's what you want. You want to go towards those difficult moments. You want to hone in on and be like, you know what? That was epic. That was like such a mess that I learned all over the place, right? I learned so many different things just by observation. So I challenge you to do this. Ask for looms. I just did this, with the crew here before this session, and we're going to do it now. I'm going to be vulnerable and do this in real time with something that we're working on. What can happen after this is greatness, let's say, right? All smiles. It can be really painful to watch it. It's just that's what you want to go towards. Going to the gym, right? Oh man, it's so hard doing these curls. My muscle fibers are like tearing or whatever. I don't know. hopefully not many individuals are crying at the gym. However, the muscles are just like, oh, feels good after though, right? And this is what you want to do. You want to build the muscle, if you will, of what you're creating. All right. So that requires actually just like going through it, actual observation, not just like talking about feedback. And this actually goes back into when you have conversations. Observe. Are they understanding it, or am I just talking a bunch? Are they understanding what I'm saying? Check in. Hey, can you repeat what I've said in your own words? Uh, I don't really understand what you're saying. Sorry. Before that question, you had no idea. All right. Ayush, do you have solid connection right now? Okay. All right. So let's get Ayush set up with the credentials, please. All right, Ayush, can you get on the mic real quick just to make sure that we can hear you?
Hello.
All right, we got Ayush in the house. Hey, hey, hey. All right, so, boom. Okay, so you're already in. So I missed the sign up process. However, it's okay. Now, okay, I'm going to observe. You're gonna do your your thing. Um, you
Okay.
can make comments as you go, if you want. Uh, yeah,
Where do I have
I'm
to
not
like?
I'm not seeing your whole screen, I don't think. It. I'm not seeing the whole. Okay, well, I don't think I'm seeing your whole screen. Um, the very bottom of your screen. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, just you can use it. Uh,
Like, where
uh,
do I have to write?
yeah. So this is great. This is the first time I've ever seen this ever. Um, I don't understand. Do you have like some different configuration on your browser or something? Because I'm not seeing entire areas of the UI.
Mm, I don't think so. Like, this is just let me try it on another browser.
That's this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is incredibly painful. I'm like, okay, first time I've ever seen that. There's literally no chat box.
It's the same on it here. Oh, just a second.
All right. See this.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is already something, right? So there's been an update in the UI that I'm not even really familiar with. Do you see how painful that is for me right now? Literally, didn't even know where to go. So painful, right? I'm just like, this is not good. So that is already a huge learning. All right, now I'm just going to observe. You just share, Ayush, whatever you want. You don't have to. You can just, yeah. Hmm. Perfect. So this whole thing is completely falling apart right before my eyes. First time I've seen that. Great. Um, this is exactly what I'm talking about doing. I'm seeing things, interactions that I've never seen before, and this is not about Ayush at all in any way. Um, this is simply a beta version of the app, and these are incredibly important observations. So, as Prasan said, please use Quick Wallet. Um, we haven't been testing with Arconnects because we've been optimizing for Quick Wallet because it's still basically an internal beta. So please use your Quick Wallet, and then to be able to
Yes.
do that because it's not. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens here. Okay, now let's see what happens. And this is the pain that I'm talking about. All right. I am being totally vulnerable here and being like, okay, let's see what happens. This is what I want you all to do, right? This is what I want you all to do.
It's the same.
So it's probably still connected to your other wallets. Man, I really wish my the crew here was seeing this. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
No, it's
So,
the same.
can you please just go in a private browser and just
Okay.
go
Yeah.
from there?
Yeah. Just a second.
So this is just about as painful as it gets, I think, for someone building something. Just about. It's the classic thing where it's like, okay, I've never seen that happen. The new UI update doesn't uh, uh, work, and then it, there's all sorts of issues appearing. Many issues, so many issues. It's difficult to count. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, so maybe we just stop there and we just pause for a moment. And so this
Okay.
is me in real time, just being in complete awe of, wow, this was a complete and utter failure on all accounts. That's what it can feel like because it's like, how does this even happen? Right? I'm sitting here, I'm standing here, and I'm like, I haven't seen that happen. I haven't seen this happen. I haven't seen that happen. Right? And it's all happening. And the result is nothing even was created. Nothing was created. So, in some ways, it's a fantastic example. In other ways, it's incredibly difficult. Like, I'm so frustrated by what happened right there that I'm like, this is like gold. Um, great. Complete, complete, just not happening. Um, quite humbling, considering this is the first time this has ever happened. Uh, and we're gonna move on. So that's interesting. Kind of epic in some ways because it's so absurd that you're getting a real sense of like how difficult it can be to actually observe. Obviously, it's a little bit different because like it's not just observation. It's like, you know, there's a room full of us, and it's just literally just failing, just absolutely failing. So this is the sad crying state that I'm in right now, right? I'm just like, this is so painful, and I'm gonna look to get here uh, soon, right? So please do this. Oh yeah, ask for help. Absolutely, right? And ask for help is also by doing what I've just done. Show it, literally show it. And even if it's like an alpha state or beta state or internal beta, which this currently is, like, go for it. Go for it, just like I've done. All right, so switching gears a little bit here. Ash actually dropped this in the chat. By the way, I'm going to have a redemption session, please, for you all, because I want you to see actually how this worked. Because that was really brutal for me. Um, and it's just so classic. It's just perfect. So yeah, I want to have a redemption session. If you guys are up for me, up for that, show me some love or something. I'm right here with you guys. Founder mode. Um, So I hope we can do that. So, all right, here's the thing: be undeniable. Ash said it in the chat. What does undeniable mean? Undeniable means whatever it means to you. Uh, you're just relentless in the best of ways. Your product speaks for itself. You're on top of it if it doesn't, right? So the product I'm building and showcasing right now did not show well. It was a complete flop. And so how does one be undeniable in that situation? Oh, well, okay, redemption session. Let's go. I'm totally up to do that. I'm totally up to get back on the mic and do that. Um, so yeah, so you just want to be undeniable, right? You have a sense of what that means. Okay, very funny session in some ways. I think it probably illustrated the point better than I can even state. Thank you guys for being with me on it and being friendly. Um, you know, let's do this. Like, go out there, be vulnerable, just like me. I mean, seriously, like this is a great example. It's painful. It can be. It's not inherently painful. It can be painful. That was really painful to me. I haven't ever seen these things happen, literally, right? And that's the classic founder thing. It's like, oh no. It's perfect. The whole thing works. It's totally fine. Everything makes logical sense. Oh well, the thing didn't even work right now. I haven't even seen that error, right? So when I say let's do this, like, show, be undeniable, be communicative, talk about what's happening. Like, go out there and do it. Observe in conversation, observe in interaction. Get Loom recordings, video recordings, screen recordings, whatever. Have those live sessions. Hey, get in DMs and say, hey man, are you up to have a session? I just want to watch. I just want to observe you use this thing that I'm building. I'm not going to interject or whatever. I just want to see what's up. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for all of you right now in this ecosystem. AO is coming up here. I think in a very significant way. You all are very well positioned to create fundamental use cases, technology, playfulness, apps and games and whatnot. And I think you can have a bunch of fun with it. I'm here to assist in any moment. I'm here to assist in your ability to be vulnerable, just like I am right now. It is, I think, is skill. I'm getting better at it because it's very easy to be very hard on myself. Like as a builder and stuff, it's like you want everything to be perfect. No builder wants what just happened for me to happen. It's not fun. It's highly motivating. And that's where you just default to do. Okay, boom. That didn't go well. Okay, all right. Well, I want to have some sort of redemption session if you all are up for it. That's what I mean by let's do this. Does anyone have any questions or want to get on the mic? I don't need to broadcast anymore. I just want to thank you all for being here. Be active. Be active. Share. Communicate. Right. These are all the important things that are often overlooked. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap with that. I'm gonna get off the broadcast and Ash or Ashtosh, Prasad and Rohit, if you have anything else to say, let's just kind of hang out and talk, and maybe my redemption session can actually happen in real time. We'll see. It sounds like there's a cores issue and whatnot, so maybe more complex. However, yeah, let's hang out a bit if you're able to, and thanks again for being here.